Creating content and uploading it to your social media profiles is one thing, but when it comes to scaling your creator business, it's going to cost you. Today, I'm going to pull back the curtain and talk you through a percentage breakdown of my expenses as a full-time content creator so that you can be prepared to know what you'll need to invest in order to grow your brand. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Austen and I am a fashion and beauty content creator based in New York City. Here on my YouTube channel, I help micro-influencers create great content, grow their digital brands, and generate sustainable income from content creation. So if any of that interests you, please do consider subscribing to my channel for new videos every Tuesday. So I am also a micro-influencer. I have 20,000 followers on TikTok, 12,000 on Instagram, and 7,000 subscribers here on my YouTube channel. And I've been creating content for just under a decade, but I didn't go full-time with my content creation until April of 2021. When you decide to go all in on your content creation, you are committing to making it a business. And just like with any business, you're going to have expenses. So today I wanted to discuss the cost of content creation, and we're going to walk through my 5 categories of expenses from 2021. So let me start off by saying that there is, with anything, of course, a low-cost way to create content. Now, I think for any content creator in 2022, you are going to want at least $1,000 to cover the cost of a smartphone, your phone plan, and your Wi-Fi bill. And that's just going off of some of the most low-cost options that I found researching online. So hopefully many of you already have those things in place, and that is what you've been using to start creating content. At the end of 2021, I created a profit and loss document for my business, and that was basically just a PDF where I put my total revenue for the year minus my total expenses for the year to get my net earnings for the year. So let's jump right into the percentage breakdown of my expenses from 2021. My biggest expense in 2021, 41% of my total expenses went to contractors. Now, I use contractors just like pretty much any business can use contractors, meaning that I'm hiring on people who are not employees of mine, who I'm hiring kind of on a freelance basis to help me with particular projects or tasks. There are 3 different types of contractors that I hired in 2021, the first being photographers. Now, I've talked about this before. Photography is really not my strong suit. I love and admire photography, and I've learned enough to take good photos on my own, but they're not great, and I'd so much rather outsource photography to someone who knows what they're doing and makes my content look not just good, but exceptional. I just wanted to give a quick shout out and recommend 2 photographers who I work with and love here in New York City, my friend Karia and also my friend Jessie. They have both done awesome work for me. Karia does lots of street style content, and my friend Jessie actually did all of my brand photography. We did a big shoot together over the summer. So that was definitely a big overall expense, but totally worth it to me to really have that great branding and new headshots to share with people. The second type of contractor I hired out in 2021 was for affiliate management. So I hired on my good friend Caitlin, who has an agency called Curio5, to handle my affiliate earnings. So I started working with Caitlin in 2021, and she creates weekly affiliate content for me that I share to the Shop LTK app over on my Instagram stories, and I've definitely seen an increase in my affiliate earnings, which has been awesome. And the last type of creator that I've hired out is basically like a social media assistant. So I do have my friend Tara, who lives here in Hoboken with me, who did help me out with a bunch of different shoots over the summer. We would get together and just shoot outfit photos, reels, videos, things like that. And I basically just hired her out as I needed her. Rates will definitely vary between contractors. Some prefer to work on more like an hourly basis where you can expect probably around like $20 an hour, and others will work more on a per project basis. Let's move on to the second largest category of my expenses in 2021, which was software and programs on my computer. I have to say, in this category, there's a lot that you can get away with for free up until a certain point. But it is just so worth it to get systems in place that make sense for you and your business and that really streamline everything in the long run. And you know, there's only so much I can hire out on a contractor basis, and it's really up to me to make sure that my daily systems and workflow and keeping track of everything I need to do are all in control and managed on my laptop. Let's run through some of the softwares that I pay for in my business that I genuinely believe are worth it and that now I kind of can't live without. Number one, Google Workspace. So that's how I have my @austentosone.com email address. That's through G Suite, and I do pay for that premium feature. Next up is Squarespace, where I host both of my websites. I host my blog, Keep Calm and Siobhan, and my professional website, austentosone.com, via Squarespace. Number three is editing tools. So I do have Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop. I probably don't use them as much as I could or should, given I do outsource photography, but I like having them just for things like color correction, removing objects, and I'm just familiar with them and know how to use them. I also paid for Video Leap, which admittedly, I could not quite figure out how to do what I wanted on there, but I did pay for a full year of it, so we'll see if I end up using it. Number four, Epidemic Sound. That's where I get the music for all of my YouTube videos, and that is a subscription that I pay for so that I have the license to that music always. Number six is MailChimp. That's how I send out my weekly creator newsletter that goes out on Wednesdays, and then also my affiliate shopping newsletter that goes out basically whenever I feel like it. Number seven is Later. I use Later to schedule out my content on social media for Pinterest, Facebook, and Twitter. I actually have a whole video about how I used Later, so I will link that down below in the description. Number eight is Canva. I do have a Canva Pro account and can't live without that. If you want to try a 30-day free trial of Canva Pro, there's also a link down in the description box. Number nine, I think, is TubeBuddy, and TubeBuddy helps me do keyword research for my YouTube videos. Number 10 is Google One, which is different from Google Workspace. I believe Google One is my Google storage on my computer, and I'm actually about to upgrade that so I can back up all of my YouTube videos from a hard drive up to the cloud as well. Number 11 is Keywords Everywhere, which is another keyword research tool that I use for both YouTube and my blog. And finally, I actually just today got a new tool, which is I finally decided to pay for the pro version of Otter AI, which is a transcription tool. And so what I'll do is run my YouTube videos through that and then make any minor tweaks in there and upload it back to YouTube so that you guys can use closed captions on my videos if you choose to. Okay, so that's kind of a lot. And keep in mind, I have been doing this for almost a decade, and I did go full-time with my business in April of 2021. So I really do find that these are necessary tools that help me, you know, organize my content, schedule content, make beautiful graphics, and just make me look professional overall. But do me a favor and leave me a comment down below if you use any of the tools that I mentioned, or if you have any tools that you can't live without as a content creator. I would definitely love to hear from you. And in addition, I just wanted to mention that if you're looking for any free content creation tools, I just posted a video a few weeks ago where I walked through some of my favorites, so I will leave a link to that down below in the description box that you can watch after you finish this video. Let's move on to the third category of expenses, which I have basically grouped together under the umbrella of operations costs of my business. So for me, operations just means anything I actually need to make content happen. So this could be anything from marketing budget for potential ad placement. I don't do a lot of this, but I do advertise my ebook in a newsletter for freelance writers. So that's kind of like one example of where I might spend marketing money. Also under this category is equipment for creating content. So that obviously might involve my phone, my camera that I'm using to film this YouTube video on, the tripod that camera is on, the ring light that is right here to light me, things like my printer, memory cards for the camera, hard drives to back up the content on, mics for the cameras, all of that type of stuff is stuff to consider. Also on my operations list, this is sort of a random one that you might not think of, and that's kind of why I wanted to make this video, to show you all of the things that you would really want to think about if you're looking to scale and grow this into a full-time thing, is a P.O. box. Why do I have a P.O. box, you might ask? Well, there could be two reasons for content creators, actually. Number one is if you don't want to give out your full address and you do receive PR or mailers from brands, you can send them to a P.O. box. That's one option. I actually have a P.O. box for purposes of my newsletter. So it's actually illegal to send out newsletters without a mailing address at the bottom as a business. So I found that the easiest and one of the most cost-effective ways that I could do this was to just rent out a PO box. And so you'll actually see the address of my PO box at the bottom of all my email newsletters so that I have that address on file for me to be sending out those email blasts. Do I check this PO box? No, I don't. It's actually still in Queens. I never moved it after we moved. So I'm sorry if anyone's ever sent me a letter there. I've actually never thought about if anyone's ever bothered to send me a letter to my PO box. Please note that generally the best way to reach me is by Instagram DM, or of course my email is listed everywhere as well. Okay, so in 2021, this was the smallest category overall, and the fourth category of my expenses was travel. Clearly, we are still living in uncertain times, and so traveling is not as big of a part of my job as it may have been in the past. And under the travel category, I typically list things like transportation to and from events. That is a business expense. Thinking about, am I having a business lunch? Am I going somewhere that I wouldn't normally be going for work purposes? So for me, transportation in the city is like, do I need a subway swipe or do I need a bus ticket? For you, it might be, do I need gas to go to this event? And travel will definitely vary between different creators. If you are a solo travel content creator, I assume travel will be a large part of your expenses. If you are a stay-at-home mom blogger, maybe travel is not a huge part of your expenses. I'm definitely hoping to have more work-related travel in the upcoming year, so we'll have our fingers crossed to see if that comes true. And my fifth and final category of expenses is basically just anything other. So this is a miscellaneous category. The three biggest things that I noticed that kind of recurred in the miscellaneous category were, number one, props for different photo shoots. So things that I wouldn't have bought unless I actually needed them for content creation. This especially went up during the holidays when I was doing a bunch more sponsored partnerships with brands and needed additional props and decorations and things like that. Number two was mailing giveaway packages or doing a giveaway like on my email newsletter survey that I do at the end of every year, where I give away a Starbucks gift card. So those kind of fell under my other expenses. And the last one was just any other educational materials. So if I did any online courses or paid to attend any webinars or workshops or bought any ebooks or materials like that, I kind of put that under the other category as well. And the great thing about business expenses is, yes, they are deductible from your taxes. Now, disclaimer, I am not an accountant, nor do I claim to be, so please do not take what I'm saying here as financial advice. But basically all of the things that I just walked you through, I will typically list out and provide to my accountant when I go to file my taxes, and we are able to mark them as business expenses. I really do recommend keeping very close track of your expenses. So whether you want to use an additional software for doing that, or even if you just create a Google Sheet for yourself, that's what I've done right now, but I am looking to eventually upgrade to more of a money management software, maybe like HoneyBook, to keep track of invoices, expenses, all of that type of stuff. You should really keep close track of these so that it makes your life way easier when you do go to file at the end of the year, so that you're very clear about where you actually spent your money in your business. And the last thing I want to say is, for any content creators out there who work with brands or clients and are nervous to charge their worth, you're not just charging for content creation. You have to factor in the fact that you have expenses as a business. Who is paying for the camera you're using to create the content, or the photographer who you hire to come in and shoot it, or the props that are going to go along with it? You have to factor these things into your budget, because otherwise you're not going to be profitable. And then you're gonna not be a successful business, and we don't want that to happen. So please keep all of this in mind as you are budgeting out what you are going to be able to spend for the year as business expenses. Go through and prioritize what you need the most, and you can find free alternatives for most of the things I mentioned, or very low cost alternatives too, to build your way up. And if you just watched all the way through this video and you are still a newer content creator and you feel like you need a little bit more just general support support or guidance in terms of getting your platforms in a good place to pitch to brands or making sure that you're creating the best possible content that you can, I did just want to share that I have my free guide, The Influencer Launchpad. I know I talk about it all the time, but it's because you all seem to really love it, and I created it just with new creators in mind. So you can grab that from austentosone.com/subscribe. There is actually a section in there about how to make iPhone photos look really professional and amazing. So again, if you're thinking about equipment or how to create and elevate your content, that would be a great section of that guide to check out. Let me know what you thought about this video, and if you'd like to see more videos kind of talking about the money side of content creation. I know that this is kind of a hot topic, and the more we can kind of share about it and talk about our own experiences, the better. So feel free to ask any questions I didn't get to address in the video down below. I will do my best to read and reply to as many of them as I can. And thank you guys so much again for watching. If you're not already, please do subscribe to my channel for new videos every Tuesday, and you can also turn on that notification bell so that you never miss a video from me. And do go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below as well if you found this video helpful. I'll be back again next week with another new video. Until then, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.